Picture this. You've just worked 12 hours crawling through ceiling joists rewiring a restaurant. On the drive home, you stopped at Dolce on East Boulevard to pick up your wife's favorite tiramisu, the one she always says she doesn't need but finishes in 2 days. Your 6-year-old is asleep upstairs. The house smells like the chili you put in the slow cooker that morning. You sit down at the kitchen table, and the woman you've been married to for 14 years looks at you with this flat, rehearsed expression, hands on the table, not shaking, not crying, and says, "I think we should separate. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I don't think this is working anymore." Not a tear, not a tremor, like she was reading from a teleprompter. That was my wife Claire. My kitchen. My Friday night in Charlotte, North Carolina. That tiramisu sat on the counter until Monday. Nobody touched it. Here's the part that changed everything. I looked at her for a long time and said, "Okay, then let's not drag this out." Her mouth opened, then closed. The color drained from her face. Whatever she'd rehearsed, whatever reaction she'd prepared for, my answer wasn't in the script. My name is Tom Brennan. I'm an electrician. Built Brennan Electric from a used van and a license when I was 26. 12 guys on my crew now. Not glamorous. You come home with scraped knuckles and copper dust in your hair. But I built something real. Claire and I met at a wedding in Asheville, 2010. She was in a green dress, laughing at something the bartender said. We talked 3 hours and missed the cake. Our daughter Lily came along 6 years ago. We were good, not perfect, but real. 8 months before that Friday, Claire joined a women's group through her friend Megan Ashworth, recently divorced, confident. The kind of woman who talked about knowing your worth like it was scripture. The comments crept in slowly. Megan says most men don't realize how unavailable they are. Megan thinks I've been settling. Every sentence was a small cut. Every cut had Megan's fingerprints. After my answer, Claire sat frozen. Then, "That's it? That's all you have to say? What did you want me to say?" Something. Anything that shows you care about this marriage. I've been showing that for 14 years. If you haven't noticed by now, one more speech won't change your mind. She went upstairs. Bedroom door clicked shut. Not a slam, controlled, deliberate. I didn't sleep. Guest room, still in work clothes. Replaying her face, that rehearsed steadiness, those flat hands. That waiting look? Like she was timing my reaction with a stopwatch. That wasn't how someone delivers news that breaks their heart. That was how someone delivers a line they've been coached to say. Then Saturday morning happened, and I heard something that rearranged how I see my own marriage. I was making coffee. Claire was on the phone upstairs. She didn't know I was home. Her voice was low. And she was laughing. "He didn't even fight for it, Megan." She actually laughed. "He just said okay, like I told him we were out of milk." Pause. "No, he didn't cry, didn't raise his voice, just sat there." "Honestly, Megan, it was kind of sad, like he doesn't even have the energy to care." Another pause. "So what do I do now?" "He was supposed to." Yeah, I know. Give it a week. Let me see what happens." Imagine hearing that. Your wife, the mother of your child, laughing about your pain, calling it kind of sad, comparing 14 years of marriage to running out of milk, reporting your reaction like gossip from a reality show. I stood at the bottom of the stairs with a mug in my hand. The coffee had gone cold. Something inside me went cold with it. She wasn't leaving me, she was testing me, and she thought the whole thing was entertaining. You know that feeling when the person you love turns out to be watching you like a lab experiment? When your pain is their data point, something inside changes shape, permanently, and it doesn't change back. I sat in my truck in the driveway for 20 minutes, engine off, hands on the steering wheel, looking at our house. The porch light I replaced last spring. Lily's star projector glowing through her bedroom window. The hallway where we marked her height every birthday with a pencil line. I wasn't angry yet. I was something worse. Sad in a way that had no bottom. 14 years, a daughter, a house we built together, and she was on the phone laughing about it. Then the sadness burned off. And what was left underneath was clarity. I wasn't going to audition for a role I'd already earned. Monday, I called my buddy Dave Kowalski. We went back to journeyman days, divorced 5 years ago. Not bitter, just honest. I told him everything. The speech, the phone call, the laughing. Dave was quiet for a long time. Then, "She's running a play, Tom." Question is whether she knows it's a play or thinks it's real. Does it matter? Yeah. If she knows, she's manipulating you. If she doesn't, someone's manipulating her. Either way, protect yourself first. He gave me the name of a family attorney in Dilworth, not because I wanted a divorce, because I didn't want to be blindsided twice. I sat in the attorney's parking lot for 10 minutes before going in, not nervous, grieving. I thought about Lily, about the blanket fort Claire built so elaborate, Lily insisted on sleeping in it for a week. About Sunday mornings when the three of us existed in the same room together, no agenda, no drama, just a family being a family. Then I went inside and made sure I wouldn't lose everything if the game got worse. At home, nothing changed on the surface. Made Lily's breakfast, fixed the dripping faucet. But I stopped reaching. The lunchtime texts, the coffee made her way. The small things that said, "I'm thinking about you." I let them go quiet. Not as a strategy, I just didn't have anything left to give. Monday, no good morning text. She checked her phone twice before noon. Tuesday, she mentioned a client meeting. I said that's great and went back to my paperwork. Her smile flickered and died. Wednesday, I went to the gym after work. Didn't mention it. She called at 7. Where are you? Gym. Since when? Since today. Thursday, Lily's school called about a field trip. I handled it. Didn't tell Claire. She found out from another parent and stared at me like I'd committed a crime. Friday, 1 week since the speech. Claire made the lamb with rosemary, the one she only makes for anniversaries and apologies. I thought we could eat together tonight, she said. The practiced look was gone. Something uncertain had replaced it. Sure, we ate. She tried 3 times to start a conversation about us. Each time I gave a polite, complete answer that went nowhere. Do you even care that I said I wanted to separate? I heard you. I took you at your word. Maybe I didn't mean it exactly like that. Then you should be more careful with words that end marriages. She stopped eating, stared at me. The script said he should be chasing by now. The script was wrong. That Sunday, Lily climbed into my lap while I was reading on the couch. She smelled like strawberry shampoo and the tempera paint they use at her school. Daddy? Yeah, baby. If you and Mommy live in 2 houses, can I bring my blanket to both? My throat closed. I held her tighter and pressed my face into her hair so she wouldn't see my eyes. You don't have to worry about that, Lily. Okay. She patted my arm like she was comforting me. I just wanted to check. She went back to coloring. I sat there for 10 minutes, unable to move. My hands were shaking, but I kept them still because she was right there, and children feel everything even when they can't name it. Claire was standing in the kitchen doorway. She'd heard the whole thing. Our eyes met. She looked away first. That night, lying in the guest room in the dark, I cried for the first time. Not big dramatic sobs, just this slow leak that wouldn't stop, for Lily. For the man who drove home with tiramisu thinking his life was solid. For 14 years that might end because someone's divorced friend had opinions about love. Week 2. This is where Claire's mask came apart in pieces. Monday, you're punishing me. Tuesday, this is passive-aggressive. Wednesday, you're deliberately shutting me out. I'm respecting the space you asked for. You can't argue with someone giving you exactly what you demanded, but she tried. Thursday, she switched tactics. Mentioned that Brad from her office had complimented her new haircut. Said he told her she was glowing. Watched my face the entire time, fishing for jealousy. Good for Brad, I said without looking up. Her jaw tightened. Friday, she went ice cold, walked past me like I was furniture. Didn't speak for 2 days, left the house without saying where, came home late, offered nothing. I said nothing. Let the silence sit between us like a third person living in the house. Sunday night, she tried something that made my blood stop. She brought Lily into it. Lily asked me today why Daddy seems different, she said over breakfast with this wounded look. I didn't know what to tell her. There's a specific kind of anger that comes when someone uses your child as leverage. The kind you have to breathe through because the alternative is something you don't come back from. Tell her Daddy loves her, I said. My voice was steady, but my hands weren't. That's never been in question. Claire's eyes narrowed. Wrong reaction again. Week 3, she swung to sweetness. Bought me a watch. Suggested a weekend in Blowing Rock. Made dinner 4 nights running. Touched my arm passing in the hallway. Each gesture perfectly timed. Each one felt like a move in a game I was no longer playing. Wednesday night, she came downstairs wearing something she saved for anniversaries. Hair done, perfume I recognized. That look in her eyes. Maybe we should go out, she said, like we used to. I'm good, thanks though. Her face went through 3 expressions in 2 seconds. Hurt, confusion, and something close to real fear. She stood in the living room doorway for a full minute, arms at her sides like she'd forgotten how to move. Thursday, the apartment threat. "I've been looking at places," she said casually over coffee, "just to see what's out there. In case. Makes sense. Let me know if you need help moving." She dropped that act by Friday. "Friday night," she cried. "Not the strategic kind, the real kind. Behind the bedroom door, quiet and steady. The kind that comes from someone who's run out of moves and doesn't know what's real anymore." I lay there in the guest room listening, and my chest was tight enough to crack. Every part of me wanted to walk in there. Sit on the edge of that bed. Tell her I knew everything. My hand was on the doorknob. Then I heard her voice in my head, laughing. Kind of sad, like he doesn't even have the energy to care. I let go of the handle, went back to bed, stared at the ceiling until the crying stopped and the house went quiet. The following Tuesday, Claire's sister Kate called me. "Tom, I need to tell you something." "Claire's going to be furious." "Go ahead." The separation wasn't her idea. It was Megan's. Megan told the group that the only way to know if a man really loves you is to threaten to leave and see what he does. If he begs and fights, he cares. If he doesn't, the marriage is dead. I was leaning against my van in a parking lot in South End, sun in my eyes. She told Claire that Derek, Megan's ex, failed the test. Didn't fight, so she left him. I remember Derek. Good guy. He was a great guy, Tom. Kate's voice cracked. But here's what Megan never told the group. Derek didn't fail. He did everything the test demanded. He begged, he cried, sent flowers every day for a month, wrote letters, went to therapy alone. She left him anyway. Then told the group he was pathetic for trying. I let that sit. A rigged game. Beg, and you're pathetic. Stay calm, and you don't care. There is no right answer. The test was never about love. It was about control. And the woman handing out this advice already proved it destroys marriages. Derek was the proof. "There's more," Kate said. "I've been asking around." Megan didn't just do this to Claire. She coached at least 3 other women in that group with the same test. 2 of those marriages ended in divorce. The 3rd woman figured it out in time and left the group before she went through with it. 3 marriages. Not a mistake. A pattern. A woman walking through other people's lives with a wrecking ball and calling it wisdom. "My sister isn't a bad person," Kate said. "She's been listening to the wrong voice for 8 months, and she can't see what she's about to lose." I thanked her, hung up, sat in my van watching traffic on South Boulevard until the sun moved behind the buildings and the shadows stretched long across the pavement. The next 2 weeks, I watched my wife run a playbook I'd already read. When she cooked dinner, I recognized the sweetness phase. When she mentioned Brad again, I saw the jealousy trigger. When she cried, I had to decide in real time if it was real or rehearsed. Nobody tells you how lonely it is to know the truth when the other person doesn't know you know. You eat breakfast across from someone who thinks they're playing you, and you chew your toast and ask about the weather, and the distance between what's real and what's happening becomes a physical thing you carry in your chest all day. She suggested couples counseling, not to fix things, but to get a professional to confirm what Megan had been telling her. "We could see someone together," she said. "Talk things through. When you're ready to tell a counselor the whole truth about what started this, I'll go." Fear flickered in her eyes, quick, like a match struck in wind. Wednesday evening, Megan showed up. The coach entering the game when the player can't close alone. Megan sat on our couch, the one I carried up the stairs by myself when we moved in, and started talking about attachment styles and emotional availability. "Men like your husband respond to distance with attention," Megan said to Claire, like I wasn't sitting right there. "It's developmental. He just needs time to process his fear of loss." I listened for 5 minutes. Let her build her whole framework. "Megan, tell Claire what happened with Derek." The room temperature dropped. "Excuse me? Your ex-husband, the one you ran this same test on. Tell Claire what actually happened." "That's not relevant. You're sitting in my living room advising my wife about her marriage. Your marriage is extremely relevant." She turned to Claire. "You don't have to listen to this." "She absolutely does." I leaned forward. "Tell her," Derek begged. "Tell her he sent flowers every day for a month, wrote letters, went to therapy alone, did everything your test demanded. Then tell her you left him anyway." Silence. Megan's hand tightened on her purse strap. "And tell her the word you used when you told the group about it. Nothing. Pathetic," I said. "You called a man who loved you enough to fight for his marriage pathetic, and then you taught my wife to run the same play." Megan stood. "Claire, don't let him manipulate you. That's rich, coming from the woman who scripted my wife's separation speech." I stayed seated, didn't raise my voice. And, Claire, Megan didn't just do this to you. She ran the same coaching on at least 3 other women in that group. 2 of those marriages are over. She's not your friend. She's a pattern. Megan's face went white. She looked at Claire for support and found none. Claire was staring at her with the expression of someone watching a building she lived in start to collapse. The door shut behind Megan. The silence she left had weight. Physical weight. The kind you feel in your ribs. Claire was shaking. She told us he didn't care. She said he let her walk away. Derek did everything right. She punished him for it. And if you had begged, if you'd fought, same ending. Different script, same ending. Derek proved that. There was no right answer, Claire. There never was. Her face collapsed, not practiced, not coached. Not any of the faces I'd seen for the past month. This one was underneath all of them, raw and frightened and very, very young. I was never going to leave you, she said through tears. I never wanted to leave. You just wanted to see if I'd beg. I wanted to know if you still loved me. You could have asked. I was scared of the answer. That landed between us like something heavy falling from a height. I need to know one more thing, I said. That Saturday morning, I heard every word, Claire. You were laughing. You told Megan my reaction was kind of sad. That it was like telling you we were out of milk. I need to know, were those your words or hers? She pressed her hands over her face. When I said it, I felt powerful. For the first time in months. Megan made me believe your calmness meant you didn't care. When you didn't chase me, it felt like proof. And that feeling, powerful, that was more important to you than what I was going through. She couldn't answer. The silence answered for her. That's the part I can't get past, I said quietly. Not the test, not even Megan. The fact that my pain made you feel powerful. She was sobbing. The kind where the sounds coming out don't feel like yours. Her whole body was shaking and she kept trying to speak, but nothing would come. What do we do? She finally managed. You decide, without Megan, without a group, without a script, whether you want this marriage. The real version, not the one where I perform and you grade. I want it. Then prove it. Not tonight. Over time, through actions I can't predict. Because if you're following a new script, I'll know. I know what coach looks like now. That was October. December, a Saturday morning, Lily destroying pancake batter, Claire laughing at the flour on her nose. I was standing by the coffee maker watching them. Actually watching, not thinking about tomorrow's job or the bid I needed to send, and Claire caught me looking. What? She said. Nothing. Just looking. She smiled. The real one. The one from Asheville. But last week, Claire looked at me across that same kitchen table. Same table, same chairs, same slow cooker on the counter, and said, I'm glad you didn't beg. Why? Because if you had, I'd have lost respect for you. And then Megan would have been right about everything. We sat there for a while. The kitchen was quiet. I could smell the chili. Same recipe. Same Friday night. Almost the same. Almost. Some nights, I still hear her on that phone, laughing. Kind of sad. 14 years reduced to a punchline. That lives somewhere in me now, in the same place where I keep her face in that green dress, and Lily's pencil marks on the hallway wall, and the sound of a bedroom door clicking shut like a verdict. You don't get to unknow what someone sounds like when they're laughing at your pain. You just learn to love them with that sound still in the room. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.